welcome to Parentology. I am Chunizuk Selton, your host. Today with me we have a yoga instructor, Yeetsho, who is also a mother of one. And she is 9 months old. Mo, your daughter?
Yes,
or son? Daughter?
Daughter.
Daughter, okay.
Right.
Yeetsho, welcome to Parentology.
Thank you.
I am really excited that we're finally getting to sit down and talk. This has been long overdue. But I thought it would be interesting to actually have an episode on motherhood and the focus on the health, the physical health. And yoga, extends to mental health too. So the general health of the mother. So welcome to Parentology once again. So before we begin, tell me about your family.
All right. Well, before I start, thank you, Chok, for having me on your show. I'm really excited about it. It's a privilege, yeah. And greetings to all the viewers. Well, to talk about my family, in my house, we have my husband, my daughter, and myself. But I have all the family members around me. So we are staying in different flats.
So that's your family.
Yes,
Now, let's learn a little about your daughter. She's not even a year yet.
Mm-hmm.
You became a new mom last year, Memo.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about your daughter.
She is a very lovely child. Mm-hmm. And at the moment, what's more fulfilling for me is to see her grow. Mm-hmm. Every day, you can even call every minute, to really see different developmental developments that she's coming up with. And it takes a lot of time, of course. And at this stage, 9 months, now she's beginning to crawl, rolling, and then also doing some educational, the play. She's learning a lot. And along with my daughter, it's a learning journey for me as well. Mm-hmm. Because I look at, okay, now at this stage, what are the things I should look at? Where do I require more attention? So sometimes I feel if I am giving her the right support. Mm-hmm. So what's more exciting about her right now is to really see her grow, to really see her babble, and coming up with a speech, dada, then this babbling sound, she calls, the first word she said was mama. Yeah, so that's a lot of story to express, but I would leave that in a nutshell.
I see. And this is your first child,
yes,
right?
Yes.
How was it becoming a mother? Were you prepared for it?
Well, not really. I wanted to be a mother, but at the same time, not really prepared. Like you said, a motherhood journey. I would say it's very fulfilling. At the same time, I used to ask my mother, who is we have 6 siblings.
Oh, okay.
How is it? How did she really come up raising 6 of us? And then she used to tell her own part of the story. But then when it comes to me, me and my husband, bringing up one child was not so easy. So I was just doing a comparison. How did my mother manage? Whereas at this, at this stage, it's very difficult for us even to bring up one child.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a mystery how our parents raised 6 children, 3 children, 12 children.
Yeah, that too in a very short gap.
Exactly. And here we are struggling with, I also have only one kid, and I have my challenges. And like you said, it's challenging and rewarding, right, at the same time. What, according to you, was a big challenge for you, something that caught you off guard about being a mother?
My pregnancy was quite easy. And then I was really thinking 8.5 months, is delivery going to be fine? Is everything going to be okay? How is it going to be like? And then I literally start to do YouTube and Google and see okay, delivery and all this thing. But it was good not to be looking at those because it simply freaked me. And then it gave a bit of a panic. Then I started to panic, okay, is it going to be difficult like that? And then that was one challenge. But having said that, everything went smooth. And after delivery, of course, delivery time, you have to face all the pain and the struggles. That's one challenge. And the other side is breastfeeding. I faced the problem because I didn't know how to breastfeed.
Okay.
That was the main problem, positioning of the baby. And at the very start, because I didn't know how to handle newborn baby, like I found like everything is very fragile, and if I'm like, you know, doing it in the right way. So that was the challenge. That was the challenge, and requiring like so much time for your baby, sleepless nights. Like, yeah.
I know no one quite prepares you for it. I think no matter how many parents, especially mothers, I invite here, and whenever I ask them about the challenges, one of the most common is breastfeeding. And to be very honest, I was also like you. I was reading up. To me, these videos, knowing about and reading about different deliveries and what could go wrong, it actually prepared me. To me, it soothed. But to others, I think sometimes it could actually make the expectant mother a little more worried than she should be, Memo. No one told me breastfeeding could be a huge problem. And I think I think if you are an expectant mom, like, I think you would be wise enough to prepare yourself for breastfeeding and the trouble that comes with it.
I never thought like breastfeeding would be as challenging, you know, because the first thing I thought, like, maybe challenges could be like birthing in itself is a challenge. That was the only thing I got, you know. I prepared myself like, okay, you have to bear the pain, and then, but then later after the baby came out, then baby was born rather. I never thought like breastfeeding can be this difficult. Mine was mostly latching. Latching was an issue.
People who are watching this and who are expectant mothers need to prepare yourself for this. Proper latching is key. There are so many public service announcements made by the Ministry of Health and even by BBS. We have previous episodes of Parentology uploaded on YouTube. I think 3-4 episodes on breastfeeding. So if you watch it, I think it will prepare you on proper latching.
Yes.
So we've talked about the challenges more, but I also want to know, because you were a yoga instructor even before you got pregnant, were you able to continue doing yoga during your pregnancy?
Yes, I would say. First was I really enjoyed the prenatal yoga sessions that's being provided at Her Majesty Gelsen Jitsen Pema Wangchuk's Mother and Child Hospital. That was after 6 months, then you have to enroll yourself, and in a month there's only one session. Like, no, first is basics, then the advanced, and then last is the pushing. So, you know, you are being guided in that. So along with it, throughout my pregnancy journey, I at least spent 1 hour doing like prenatal yoga sessions.
Wow.
Either
in a day, 1 hour a day?
In a day, 1 hour, yeah.
For you.
Sometimes half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening. And I must say that those are really, I really enjoyed. It was effective as well.
I see.
Although I couldn't do much of the advanced postures, whatever you have to be, you know, like you have to adapt to your body, and whatever your body could accept at that point of time. And I was also seeking doctor's advice if it's okay to do those. So accordingly, I was doing the yoga.
This facility of prenatal yoga provided in the hospitals in your region, I think it is not as common in outside of Thimphu. Maybe there are other bigger hospitals that do that, but it's not common. So if there are mothers who are interested in yoga but quite skeptical and worried, what is the advice?
Well, my advice would be, first is to consult your doctor, right, and see what you can do, what you cannot do. So accordingly, yoga prenatal, like very basics, everybody can do, I feel. And if you, as per your doctor's advice, so accordingly, like a simple breathing practices, you know, pranayama, you call it, like a breathing, that helps a lot, like de-stressor breath, you know, like just inhaling and then exhaling, like taking longer time to exhale. Just simply doing that is a very good practice. And of course, like if you can do, then a simple stretches that doesn't put much of weight on your abdomen, on your lower back. So I feel those expecting mothers should not worry so much in getting, in being like moving themselves and getting some exercises, which is very crucial, because if you don't move, then I feel at that point of time you also become very lazy. And most often what we do is we just try to sit back, with the cushions at the back, and then we take a lot of support. In my experience, like those actually lead to your shoulder and your back of your shoulder, like the stiffness, it gets frozen. So then it takes a while to, come back. So that's why like it's good to loosen up yourselves, and also like enjoy these simple exercises, like simple yoga exercises that you do, which is very important for yourself and also in the development of your child inside the home.
I see. So what other benefits then? You've mentioned that it helps you relax more and be active.
Yeah.
But are there any prenatal yoga exercises that help you with delivery, or maybe just being pregnant, the pelvic floor?
Yeah. Yes, it's there. Like I mentioned before, like breathing is the most crucial part when it comes to delivery, in the normal delivery process. What you're doing is now that you have to let all your energy flow in that delivery process, in pushing your baby. Even in the MCH, Mother and Child Hospital, they give a lot of advices, especially when you reach the exit, like when it is before the time of your delivery. The sisters, they give a lot of advices on the delivery part. But my advice as a yoga instructor would be to concentrate on breathing, do deep stretch breathing. The longer you are able to exhale, that much is better for you, because then you have more stored oxygen in your body, because when you are in that stressful mode, when you're in that panic mode, there's a lack of oxygen in your body. So what you're doing is you are inhaling longer, but exhaling has to be longer than your inhalations. So that would lead to at least, like support in your delivery.
Wow, okay. So we just talked about prenatal yoga, and I think there are a lot of women who are interested in prenatal yoga. However, the postnatal, when did you start doing yoga after you gave birth?
Yeah. Postnatal, as per medical advice, for 6 weeks, right? 4, 5, 6, 6 weeks, then your body becomes normal, and then even at the hospital, you are being, like guided through like what kind of postures you can do. So I was attending to that as well. But on my own part, what happened was, when you breastfeed, that's the most difficult time. Like you have to stay upright, and you have to be holding your baby. So that time, I felt like at one point of time my wrist was breaking, and my arms are like like it's gone really weak. My shoulders started paining. And then the back part, like lower back, it requires a lot of support. So because of that, I started my postnatal quite early, much before 6 weeks. So say about after a week or so, I started doing like light stretching, like shoulder rotations, like neck rotations, wrist rotations.
So mostly upper body now?
Yeah, upper body as well as lower body.
Oh, okay.
And then on my palms and fingers, like movements, and then lying on the floor straight, like just lying on the floor, like on a yoga mat or on a carpeted floor, just lying, like you in yoga you call it shavasana, which is a corpse pose, and it's like you are sleeping on the floor straight, but then you have to feel that your back is on the floor. It's not lying on a cushion or somewhere. So that gives you so much of a relaxations, personally to me. Because you've been like on the bed, with the cushions at the back, and then you've been taking a lot of cushion support. So that's why your back actually becomes stiff, and it also gets frozen. So that's why like you have to loosen up, and then these stretching, like tiny little stretches, like not much at that stage. So I started those exercises like arm rotation, knee rotation, and little bit of hip rotations. And then after 6 weeks, after a month, when your body becomes normal, like in my case, like after a week or so, like I was active, I could move around, I could drive around. So then I've started more on the, building the stability of hip muscles.
I see.
Like just lifting your hip up and down, like very slowly and very gently. So these are the first postnatal exercises that's required in your body. And one thing that I want to mention is also your birth canal. It's become like, it expands a bit after birthing. So then you really have to work towards the contractions and then normalizing your hips. So those were the crucial parts like I was working on.
I see.
Yeah, but always with the support, always with the advice and support of the medical specialist.
I see. So you have to consult the doctor
Yes.
just to get an idea of how your body is healing, because it was an instructor way before she even got pregnant. So maybe because her body was so attuned to working out and stretches that it healed faster. Do you think it helped at all in healing from your delivery faster, the yoga that you did?
In my case, definitely the answer is yes. I started my yoga journey, I'm sharing my experience not from a year or two experience. I'm sharing my experience many years back. I've started my yoga journey since 2008. So yoga actually helped in how to live stable and how to strengthen your body and live stronger throughout your pregnancy journey. And the second part is on post-delivery. I would say yes, it helped in the postnatal periods. Like it helped to relieve much faster, and also postnatal. The normal time, the doctor's advice is like 1 month, you'll be fine. But then if you have been doing yoga and light exercises, the healing takes much ahead. You'll be okay and you'll be stable, you'll be strong, like much more ahead of expected time. Yeah.
Wow.
And also during your pregnancy, like you mentioned, like you mentioned, like everybody is different. Every pregnancy, they will have their own stories. But if you have been doing these light exercises, yoga exercises, in my case particularly, I didn't have any morning sicknesses. I didn't have a lot of struggles, except that I panicked myself a little bit during the delivery time. Like, is everything going to be okay? But I feel that too was unnecessary panic. It helps you stay calmer, and also like in your recovery, like you said, like it gives you a much of confidence that's required in your body, and also channeling your energies. Sending your energies in the right way.
I see. Yeah. And have you started instructing again then?
Yes, I have started. It took a bit longer because I didn't have a babysitter, and although I have very good family support, but all of my family members, like they are mothers themselves, like I mentioned, my sisters, like they are busy with their family, and I have support from my dad and mom, but most of the time it's like me and my husband taking turns to look after my baby. So because of that, I've been doing my self-practice, but really teaching in a classroom session, that took a long time. But currently I've started shooting with BBS again. That was a continuation from my earlier shoots. So I've started that. I have started a few private sessions that those who wanted to practice with me, like I've been giving them private sessions. And then I also started yoga for children, especially those are around the family circle, my niece and my nieces, mainly to, how to cope like stress in school, how to cope with peer pressure, how to manage anger. And then my nieces, like they're also worried about their body weights. So we are doing this as a family kids yoga.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That sounds really interesting. And I mean, because yoga sounds like a very slow activity, right? Generally, that is the misconception. Or maybe maybe not necessarily a misconception, but that is the idea of yoga. It's quite slower. So how do you have kids interested in yoga?
I feel like kids do like, they do like variations, not like what you mentioned about slow processes, like, you know, they are very restless when they do yoga, especially when I say like, okay, now today we are going to do a meditation session. They say, oh no, we don't want to do meditation. It's putting us to sleep. But what I tell them is that they have to slow down in life, and then they have to know that they are breathing. You know, it's the breath is life. Like, it's because of breathing that we are living. So now, at least for a minute or two, you have to concentrate, like, internally. You have to know your breathing. You have to concentrate on your breath. You know, feel the breath. Then they say, okay, fine. And one or two, like, it's a perfect, like, meditation they can do. But rest of the time, they really enjoy, like, the animal poses, and they shout out on the problems that they are facing, like, okay, like, what are the challenges they are going in school, what are their problems, you know, what are they worried about, what makes them feel so happy. So these are the initial questions I ask them, and accordingly, and what makes them happier. And then they say, okay, this would make them more happier. So they say, like, okay, now if you want to live with that, then if you do yoga, you can balance your energies. And then you'll be able to stay more happy. You'll be able to, you know, balance your emotions, like, physically and mentally. So I feel like children are doing really well in that.
Was it difficult to gather or garner the will to hop back on your fitness regime, or to decide to be like, okay, I'm going to start yoga again after the delivery? Because a lot of the times women say that they have started to slack after they gave birth. They have started to relax. They have become unhealthy. Forget about losing weight. I don't think it should even be a topic to talk about how to lose the weight that you've put on when you were pregnant. I don't think that matters. But the fact that the woman decides to be complacent after the birth of their child, how did you get the willpower to hop back on being healthy?
Well, I really agree to you that that is the most difficult part, you know, to come back to the regular yoga regime. Like I mentioned to you, like, I've been into yoga for a very long period of time, and one must be because of that, you know. I really cannot live without stretching my body. I feel like, some kind of exhaustion, and I feel some kind of a heaviness on my body, like something is really, like, you know, put on my back and I'm carrying that load. So even if I can do a light stretching and a breathing for 15-20 minutes, I become very light, and I feel like, okay, I've achieved my goal. So having said that, after delivery, post-delivery, you really stay occupied with your child, and then it takes a lot of your time. Me and my husband, like, we take turns to look after baby, although I worry so much about my child, and he says, like, okay, no, you just stay relaxed now, it's okay, I'll look after, you know. But still then I feel like, okay, my touch or my role is required somewhere. So I always tend to, you know, like, worry myself unnecessarily. And then I realized, as time goes by, like, nothing is permanent, you know. You are not going to be in that position forever. Your baby grows, like, every day, you know. Every day your baby is growing. Every day it's a different day for you. So you also need time for yourself. And when my baby sleeps, then I take time out. Like, at least I started off with 10 minutes, then 15 minutes. Then gradually, like, you know, I could stretch my time out. So if I haven't been determined to come back, and then it also requires a very strong determination and self-confidence, determination, and the willpower, like you mentioned. These are very important. I feel like, you know, the part that you actually have to put in effort to come back.
Like you said, this mom guilt of spending time away from your child is real, and it can consume you. It can definitely take you away from your social life also. And a lot of the times they say that once you give birth, you're not the same person anymore. And before, you could only, like, you didn't have to worry about anybody else as much as you have to when you have a new child. Then everything you do is about this new child. Is she eating well? Is she breathing well? Is she sleeping well? And we invest so much time that the moment we think of, oh, maybe I will take a time off and go see a friend, or maybe I'll go do some workout, there's this mom guilt that
Yes,
eats you up.
yes, yeah.
And we, especially as Bhutanese new mothers, we struggle so much with depending on our husbands to take care of our newborn child because first of all, they have no experience.
Yeah,
but of
true.
course, we don't also have
Yeah.
experience. But we know that women are much more natural when it comes to nurturing and caring
Yes,
for a child.
yes, yeah.
So I think, like you said, like you have to just close your eyes and trust your husbands will be able to take care of the babies when you're gone, and invest that time in your health. The social, yes, of course, you also want to make sure that you are doing all that you can to keep yourself sane, to
Yeah.
keep yourself from not losing it. And sometimes a little time away from your baby helps cope up with anxiety, baby blues, and whatever stress that you have as a new mother. Did you get any of these stresses, by the way, like the baby blues or anxiety or depression? Did you deal with any of that?
Not really.
I see.
Um,
Because you were so active and you were so
I was
aware.
active, yes.
Yoga, I think, it must have helped you. Yoga is like close to mindfulness, like meditation. More. It must have made you, prepared you for.
Yoga, the term in itself, like yoga means yuj in a classical hatha yoga text. So yuj actually means a joining, and what you're joining is joining of your body, mind, and soul. Like, getting to travel inward, and at the same time, like you also connect yourself, not just with yourself, but with the universe, with the whole universe. For example, with the environment, like the trees, plants, small insects, like how you connect yourself with the environment. So that being said, the subject of yoga is like gaining mastery over the mind, which is very huge and which is very large. But for me, like the yoga is about giving time for your own body and traveling inwardly, and then balancing your energy in the right way. And then it also helps a lot in balancing with the emotions, like the physical challenges, the mental challenges, socially, spiritually. So it keeps you balanced.
So basically, it's the best workout expectant or a new mom can do.
For all.
For all,
for
okay, not just
everybody.
the mothers.
Yeah,
All
for
right, great.
everybody, yeah.
Well, Yeetsho, thank you so much. This was so encouraging, and I'm very tempted to now start yoga. I have no exercise in me, and my child is 5 years old.
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
You should, yeah.
But yes, I am very encouraged, and this is very motivating, and I wish you all the luck in continuing to spread this very positive energy and positive word through your yoga. So thank you so much for coming to Parentology. I really enjoyed the conversation. And for those of you watching, I hope you enjoyed the episode. And I hope this encourages you to stay fit and healthy, whether you are a mom or not. And maybe this applies to dads too. So anyways, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.